Natal moon in the 8th house is quite an intense placement for the moon. You are somebody who has extremely deep feelings and really feels things on another level to a lot of people. This can sometimes give you the sense that you're different to everybody and make you feel somewhat alienated or lonely. But this is your strength, and through this life, you know, it's really part of your journey to figure out how to use this amazing ability to feel deeply and to pick up on the energies outside of you to help yourself and to help others. So with this placement of the moon, because it's in the 8th house, and the 8th house deals with slightly intangible things, so I mean it deals with death and rebirth, it deals with intimacy and sex and inheritances, other people's money, but also deals with the occult, and it's quite a psychic kind of house. So you might find that you have an amazing ability to just pick up on the undercurrents of what's going on in any given situation. You could be with a group of friends or around people, and although they might be saying one thing, you know exactly what it is they feel and what they think, and you might be too aware of what they feel and what they think about you. And so this is where it can get confusing, because you're quite open and you're just like an antenna for people's emotions, and you know, you're kind of very psychic in that way. Because of that, it's a kind of a blessing and a curse, you know. On one hand, you're able to see through things, but on the other hand, there are some things that I suppose sometimes you don't really want to see and you don't want to feel, and it can be hard sometimes for you to know what's yours and what's somebody else's, because the boundaries can be blurred. So it's really important that you make sure that you surround yourself with people who are good for you and who are positive and who have the best of intentions, because you do absorb other people's energy. If you're in a room with a lot of negative people, or if you're in a place that just doesn't feel good, it will really deeply affect you. And that might be something that, you know, other people, or not very many other people, can relate to. But don't let that let you feel alienated. Alienated? Don't let that make you feel alienated, because it is a strength, and with that you have tremendous powers of healing. You have tremendous gifts in any psychic realms, should you choose to go into that. But you don't even have to go into a healing profession. You have the ability to heal people just by being you. But at the same time, it's not your duty to heal everyone, and it's not your duty to take care of everyone. And that's something to be aware of too. You are somebody who in relationships is very committed, and you're very fiercely loyal. And sex for you can be, it's more than just sex. It's very intimate, and it's almost how you blend with somebody on an energetic level. And so because of this, you can become very attached to whoever it is you might be sleeping with. And you're likely to, you know, you're not likely to be the kind of person who likes to sleep around. You know, you're probably somebody who really remains attached to their partners and really gives a lot on an emotional level. And this is a beautiful thing. You have to bear in mind though that not everyone else is going to be able to match your level of intensity, and that's sometimes where you might feel let down or hurt, because you feel like you're maybe just not getting enough, or the other person isn't giving as enough emotionally as you are. You know, in terms of your family and how that might have affected you, there are likely to be some very interesting dynamics between you and your mother. It could be that she's a very, very powerful, intense woman. It could be that she's very psychic herself. She might use those things in her kind of job. It could also be that there are issues of power and control, or even jealousy around your mother, and that might have given you trust issues, and might have made it hard for you to know how to trust people. But there's definitely a strong connection with the females in your life, be it for better or for worse. And should you inherit anything in your lifetime, it's likely to come from the female side of the family. The fear of trusting people is something that might filter through into your relationships with others. And like I said, that's another thing that could make you feel slightly alienated in the world. The best thing you can do, because you've got this amazing gift to be able to cut to the chase and see the truth in things and really get deep down on the deepest level, the best thing you could do if you do have any issues surrounding trust and intimacy is to turn that amazing ability back on yourself and really examine, you know, where it's come from and what made it happen, and go about healing it in yourself. Use that amazing gift on yourself to heal yourself if you can. If you need the help of others, that's fine. You know, find good people, good healers, whoever, who will help you work through those things. But you have an ability to transform and to ascend past these things. You're likely to have interests that might be considered quite peculiar, you know, to some people, but things like death, UFOs, depth psychology, you know, magic, Wicca, witchcraft, astrology, tarot, anything like that, anything kind of quite mysterious or new age or even investigative. You might be, I know that there are some people out there who quite like to spend their time looking at murder scene pictures, you know, and that sounds shocking and awful to some people, but they do, they find it fascinating. You might be somebody who's interested in working in a morgue or something like that, or being an undertaker. That might actually suit you and might work really well for you, because you just are comfortable with the subject of death and transformation and rebirth. You've probably thought about your own death a few times and how you might die, and it's probably something that you're kind of comfortable with, or more comfortable than most people. Going back to your relationships and going back to love, I think the most important thing you can bear in mind for yourself is just to not allow other people's energy and other people's bad feeling or other people's karma to become your karma. You know, it's really important that you learn how to ground yourself as an individual. So whether that's finding out techniques to keep you grounded, or envisioning bubbles of light around you when you're in a room with a lot of people, and meditating and doing things like that, just things that feed your soul. Because the nice thing is you have a natural affinity with what is spiritual and what is psychic. So things like meditation, you know, could really help you and just help ground you and allow you to know that, you know, my energy starts and ends here and theirs begins over there, you know, and just try and keep that separation. And like I said, it's nice to help people and you have the ability to heal people, but it's something that must be done consciously, because you might find that if you're not conscious of the energy and the power that you emit, you might draw people to you who are in need of healing but don't even know it themselves. So they might act in ways that are hurtful, or, you know, that cause you pain or that cause you a lot of trouble, and then ultimately end up destroying your trust. So you have to be very discerning about who you allow in your circle, you know, and it's okay to save some people or to heal some people if they ask for healing and if they're aware they need healing. But a lot of people don't know it, and so they get drawn to you and sometimes can end up using or manipulating you, and then you end up feeling quite let down. But that said, you have the ability to form very strong bonds and the ability to be very loyal, and you have just an amazing depth to you and an amazing perspective on life, and an ability to see things that other people don't see. And yours is a very precious perspective that I think we should all appreciate.